Welcome back. Well, let's take a look at this now. The South African police have released the country's latest statistics, and we will be dissecting them this morning with some role players in the industry. With us in studio is Theto Mahlakoana. She's the media officer at POPCRU, and Gareth Newham is with the Institute for Security Studies. Gareth, a very good morning to you, and good morning to you, Theto, as well. I'm going to start with you and ask you, overall, when you take a look at these statistics, do you think we're winning the fight against crime?
When you take a long-term view, in other words, when you go back 10 years, we're certainly much safer in South Africa today than we were 10 years ago. Crime peaked in 2002 and 2003, and most categories have gone down since then. But in the most recent crime statistics that were released last week, we started to see some notable changes, which are a bit worrying. We saw increases in murder, and murder is our most reliable crime statistic, and that has been going down quite well, so 54% since 1994. And the last time we saw any increase was about 6 or 7 years ago. So to suddenly see an increase in murder is a warning sign we must take note of. And then also robbery. Robberies are the crimes that occur when an armed perpetrator, criminal, who's carrying a weapon, confronts a victim and steals from them. And this can happen. Most of these robberies take place on the streets, but a lot of them take place in people's homes, and a lot of in businesses, and then car hijackings. Those crimes all went up. And I think that is of real concern, because those crimes drive fear, make people very scared of moving around, keeping their shops open too late. And we had almost 1,200 more households being attacked in the most recent crime statistics in the previous year. So we've seen an increase in the number of armed gangs attacking people in their homes. And that's, for us, big concern. So overall, in the long-term view, definitely, things are not, we're still safer than we were the last 10 years. But in the most recent crime stats, we've seen some big shifts on some very serious crimes, so we need to really start looking at how to reduce these crimes.
All right. Theto, you're part of the enforcement and fighting crime. So what has been the reaction of the Police and Prisons Civil Rights Union, POPCRU?
Well, POPCRU, of course, appreciates the statistics in its entirety, because it's a tool that the members on the ground are going to use to dissect where they are and where they can be. It's a great tool for us, as well as an organization and civil society, to understand exactly what our role is in fighting crime, because it's sort of a window through which we can all see ourselves and be able to analyze what it is that ought to happen. Like Graham just explained it, that it's great to notice the different trends that are changing in society, and to be able to sit together as stakeholders with the police to say that this is where we are, and because we understand where we want to be as a country. I mean, we're always talking about this continued fight against crime that we have, and the total combating of crime and getting rid of crime in its totality in our communities. So we can look at all those aspects conclusively and say that this is where we are, which is why we appreciate, as POPCRU, the release of the statistics, although we do take into cognizance some of the issues which have been raised about the frequency thereof of the release. And these are things that we believe the ministry should be taking into consideration in the whole department, to say that would we be better off sharing with South Africans the statistics at a much better frequency than we currently are doing. We're just discussing how currently the stats are up till March, and we don't know as South Africans to this point what's been happening in the country. So those are aspects that we believe could help our members, the police who are doing the actual work on the ground, understand the environments they work in better and the trends they're dealing with.
Theto, let's discuss the morale among your members who you say are on the ground and are working at the moment. There's been a lot of negative publicity facing police officers. The incident of Mido Masia, currently the Marakana Commission of Inquiry making headlines as we speak. What is the morale like for the police officers, and does that have any effect on the crime stats?
Well, it's safe to say that it hasn't been a great year for most of our members, you know, taking into consideration the Marikana, the incidents that you've just mentioned, and a lot of the police brutality reports that have been coming out. But we do believe that our members understand their mandate, which is to serve and protect South Africans, and that despite the onslaught, that seems to be an onslaught from the public on the image of SABC, or even the realities which exist within the South African Police Service, that they may still hold on to what they're there for. And we believe in their belief in the core mandate of why they are police service, in the police service. And we know that they will indeed look at the statistics and say, maybe we could have done better here, because we mentioned after the release of the statement of the statistics as POPCRU to say that it would be interesting if we're looking at the statistics in some small rural villages in Sekhukhune and then such, that if I'm an officer in that community and I know that a year ago I had 5 murders and now I'm sitting at 10, I should feel responsible, especially in such precincts where it's small, you know everybody by name. I should feel responsible for every life, and that helps in that recognizing that my role is actually quite proactive, and it's bigger than it's sometimes estimated to be by the public.
All right, okay, we're going to have to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, I want to chat a little bit about the compilation of these statistics, because often, you know, you can hide behind numbers and rearrange the furniture on the Titanic, as it were. So we'll get to that right after this break. Stay with us.